Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. This one's going to be about purging things from your collection. I talk about this sometimes, but I've never made a specific video just about this topic. I have another channel just called Noble Records Heavy Rotation, where I talk about what I put in my collection every week. So I'm always bringing stuff in, but about once or twice a year I do a big purge. And so I think that's really healthy and important when you're collecting records. Before we get started, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. I would love to hear your feedback and comments. And also follow us on Instagram at Noble Records. I have a record store in Matthews, North Carolina, where we buy big collections, recommend albums, things like that. So stay connected with us and follow us over there as well. Just a disclaimer, first things first, this is all just my opinion. You don't have to listen to me. This is just how I feel about it over collecting records my whole life. This is just the mentality that I've developed in collecting. I've made videos about it numerous times in the past, how I've sold my collection multiple times. The first time I sold my collection, it was a huge mental task to break myself of having such sentimental value in my records. And it has allowed me to have more records more frequently because I'm willing to get rid of them when I need to. So, the main thing, I think, number one point of the whole thing is just for your own mental clarity. When I come into my collection, whether you have 100 records or 5,000 or 10,000 records, it doesn't matter. When you come into your record collection, having a manageable amount of music in your library that you know where to go if you need something. So for me, it's gotten to a point to where sometimes it's hard. I just moved. And so there's probably 5 or 6 boxes that I still need to get on the shelves and still need to get alphabetized, and I'm running out of space and all that stuff. And so right now I've gone through a period of purging things. You saw my last video probably where I found the Led Zeppelin Grail, one that I've really wanted for a long time. And so sometimes when I buy something that's really expensive or that I really have to ante up for, I'll go through my collection and I'll pick out some stuff I can get rid of. To make up for it. So sometimes it is the type of situation where I have an upgrade, like a record that's a little bit nicer. I can get rid of the old copy. Sometimes it's the type of thing to where I'm a crazy person, so I'll have some records I'll have like a really nice pristine copy, then I'll also have like a promo copy. So then I have to decide which one I really want to keep most, what's most important to me. I try not to keep more than one copy of any record unless it's Led Zeppelin, and then I kind of go off the rails. So going through my collection and seeing records that I might not listen to much. Another thing that's really popular, like a common reason for me to get rid of a record is if I have I've gotten like a better sounding pressing. So like some of these jazz records that have the OJC or whatever, I have a reissue of it or something to that effect, and then I get like an Analog Productions pressing of it or Impex or something like that. And then I say, well, this sounds way better. I'm never going to listen to that OJC again. Then that one hits the chopping block and it goes. So all that to say, I really try to keep it down to one copy of every album. So that kind of lets me have more albums. You know what I mean? For space reasons and money reasons, you can spend the same amount on another record that you'll actually like, and you're not listening to that same record twice. Unless it's one of your favorites, and you have to, and I totally understand. I mean, I've probably got 5 or 6 copies of The Dark Side of the Moon that are different mixes, different pressings. I think I've got like 10 or 15 copies of Led Zeppelin 2. They're all just a little bit different, and some things it's worth it, some things it's not. So, but the main thing is to have a manageable amount of records mentally. I had someone comment on my last video, and they said, these guys like this are crazy. They have so many records, they could never listen to them in their lifetime, and he's got all these records, and he's just hoarding them, and no one could ever listen to that amount of records, and this guy has some kind of mental problem that he would have this many records, and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, the guy doesn't know me, and comments like that don't bother me because, like I said, you don't know me and my whole situation, but I listen to all these records. These are all records that I would and do listen to. When I'm going through my collection, I kind of use the mentality, a couple things, if I'm pulling things out. There are records that when I'm passing, I'm like, man, this is a killer one. Man, I love this record. This is incredible, all that stuff. And then there's certain ones that I'm like, that's okay. That's a pretty good record, whatever. The ones that are pretty good, I'm not going to listen to them. I know myself, and I know that I've got these killer records that are amazing. I'm not going to listen to the one that's just all right. You know what I mean? So I try to make sure that my collection is all killer, no filler, and obviously that's partial to my own taste. But I want to go to where I can reach for any record. Let's say, pull this one. I don't even know what I'm grabbing here. So that's Babe Ruth. Great prog record. I listen to it all the time. Here's another one. This one's Ansley Dunbar, Retaliation. Just really good hard rock record. It's original UK press. I'm just grabbing random stuff. But I like to have it to where no matter where I reach, no matter what I grab for, it's going to be good stuff. And there's no weak spots in my collection. So I think that it's okay to have a whole lot of records as long as you're willing to listen to all of them and you like them all. I view my collection not as like I'm hoarding and I have this dollar amount of records. But I look at it like I have a library that if someone comes over, I can say, hey, check this out. You might like this. And they say, well, you have any Herb Alpert? And I'm like, no, but listen to this library record. You might like it. So it's all partial to my taste. That's the chair making that sound. But it's all partial to my taste, and yours should be partial to your taste. Obviously, you're the one that's curating this record collection for yourself. So when I'm going through, I look and say, is this record, do I get excited about this record? If the answer is no, it's gone. The second thing is, like, if you look at a record like, okay, well, this Babe Ruth record's a $20, $25 record, something like that. Would I pay that for this record if I didn't have it? That's another, I use that all the time. Would I pay that amount of money for this record if I didn't have it? And if the answer is yes, then I keep it. If the answer is no, then I get rid of it. So I try to keep it manageable that way. If I took home every record that I wanted, I would not be able to have a shop because it would shut down and no one else would get records but me. Because I want them all. I want all the records. But sometimes when I get home and I look through my collection, I'm like, man, this is so much stuff. I don't even know what I want to listen to. So getting rid of the, cutting the fat, getting rid of that stuff kind of helps you pare it down to where you can listen to the records that you really like more frequently. Another thing is, I personally would rather trade 10 mediocre records that I might not listen to that much for one really killer one, And so when you do get rid of records, it allows you to make room, both from a space standpoint and a financial standpoint, to get more. So it only makes sense to the records that you've outgrown, that you don't really like anymore, that maybe you liked 5-10 years ago, but you don't like that much anymore. You pass them on to somebody else who's going through that phase, and you're able to get stuff that you're into right now. So that's the joy of collecting, is your tastes are always changing, they're always evolving. And what you might like right now, somebody else might not like, but what you might have liked 5-10 years ago, somebody else might be really right into it right now. So when you do get rid of records, say I own a record store, so I obviously think this is really important, but when you bring them back to your local record store and you're able to put them back into circulation, people are able to get more records that they really like, so it's good for the community, it's good for you, it's good for your mental health, your mind space. I think it's good for the local record store. It helps them keep things coming and going. So it oils all the gears, really good. Obviously, I'm going to say that and I'm going to think that because I own a record store. I do understand how that sounds, but it's really important. And like, there's people that come in my shop. If you know my shop, you know that I don't ship much ever, because I try to make sure that my local community gets first dibs on everything. They're the ones that bring me my trades. So there's people that come in all the time and they bring stuff in that they don't really want, and I know my name and I know what they're looking for, I know what they want. I give them first dibs. I make sure that they're taken care of. They scratch my back, I scratch theirs. That's the true reason why I don't ship that much, is because I want for those people to have a really good spot that they can come in and they can find things and they can get first dibs on, because they help my business. I try to help them. So it's a really good relationship, I think, and it's really healthy. To be able to let go of things that don't really make you happy for things that do make you happy, that you really do like. So good for the vinyl community. It's good for other collectors. It's good for you to be willing to let things come and go. And in my life, in my experience, the more I let things go, the more things I'm able to get back. And so that really has helped me over the years of collecting, is being willing to let things go to people that that I might not really like. And if you've tried to trade with me before, you might know, like, the stuff I've got here, I'm tight about it, and I don't always want to get rid of it, especially if it's something really good that I don't think I'm ever going to see again. That stuff, by all means. There's a lot of records that I have that I know that I probably will never see again, that I have a really hard time getting rid of, and maybe you shouldn't do that. But if it's something that's in regular circulation that it's not hard to get, let it pass for something else that you really do like. So, whole point of this video is just talk about something. Obviously I have a lot of people that they'll say, "How I would never sell any of my records. How dare you insinuate that I should do such a thing? They're like my children." I get people say that all the time, and that's fine if that's how you feel about it. No sweat, don't worry about it. But if it's something like you're going into it, so whether you have 100 records or 10,000 records, if you're going into your collection, you're like, man, this is a bit much. I think I need to, don't feel bad about it. Do it because it helps you. I think it helps you be a better collector, and it helps you have a better collection that suits you better. You know what I mean? Out with the old, in with the new. It's a good process that I think most people would benefit from. So leave me a comment. Let me know how you feel about this whole thing. You may think I'm crazy. You may hate me. I would love to hear it either way. So leave me a comment. Hit the like button. Follow me on the socials. And we'll see you guys next time.